Hey everyone, welcome to In-House Counsel Insights, where we bring you in-house counsel attorneys from different industries with different backgrounds to share their tips and experiences with you. Today I have Samantha-Anne Nadolny. She's Associate General Counsel with Select Energy. Hey Samantha-Anne.
Hey Chris, we're actually not Select Energy anymore. We just changed our name.
Oh no, you tricked me. What's your new name?
I did. So we're actually Select Water Solutions now as of very recent. So you're not wrong. We were Select Energy for a long time.
All right, very good. So what does Select Water do?
Select Water does water. We're a water and chemistry focused company that operates in the oil field. So we do everything from sourcing, flowback, disposal, recycling, water transfer. So tooth to tail, life cycle water management in the oil and gas industry. We do everything from bring it to the ground to put it back in. Our specific focus is on sustainability of water and how you can expand that life cycle and manage tooth to tail. So everything from making sure that you have a proper water source to we're now recycling produced water to make sure that companies can reduce their ESG footprint. They can be reusing that water, lessening their need for fresh water and resource management, and really increase their sustainability.
Man, they should put you on the sales and marketing team. That was fantastic.
Next up.
How long have you been in the oil and gas industry?
I have been, so in oil and gas, I've been for about 3.5 years now, but I've always been on the energy side, whether it's energy construction, nuclear energy, and electrical construction for a while, and then moving into more of the oil and gas adjacent area.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. Let's talk a little bit about that, because you've always been in-house, right?
Correct.
Okay, so how does one go straight from law school into an in-house counsel position?
I'd love to say that there was some set path that I could tell for anyone to follow it. I actually got involved more on the consulting side, so didn't work for a law firm, but worked for a company that provided legal consulting for the in-house side, was there very briefly, and then moved over to an in-house position. What I was able to do was use a lot of my skills and knowledge that I gained in law school through electives and through just life experience of learning the industry. And I knew that in-house was, for me, the right move because I never loved a specific area of the law. I never woke up and said, I want to be a divorce lawyer or criminal law is really what I love. I love the business strategy behind legal advisement of companies. And so how legal really affects every single piece. We are trusted partners. We are business strategy. We are people who are there to be yes people for the company. We want to make that business strategy come alive and make sure that it's done right. So we're there to fully support and be fully integrated and be a real strategic piece as opposed to a roadblock.
I love that, and I can totally relate. So you knew from the very beginning that you wanted to be involved in the business.
Yes, that was my favorite part, were taking contracts from the very beginning of a conceptual piece in business development all the way through the execution and construction as it related not only on the legal side, but also the issues that arose throughout it.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about working in the business side. So how do you think what do you think are some of the best ways to add value to the business you're working for?
So the number one way to add value to the business is to know exactly what your company does. That's hard if you have moved around industries at all and you're going into something new, because you really have to be able to integrate yourself. But my job is best served here in the office. It is drafting these contracts. It's putting these challenges to bed. My business team, who's putting these deals and bringing in the money, their job is not best served educating me on what they're trying to do. So in order for me to have a productive conversation with them that allows them to get back out there and to keep making money and selling deals and building the business, is to be able to know exactly what they're talking about. I need them to be able to come to me in every sort of industry lingo, explain what they're trying to do, and then me take it and put it in, paper it up. But if they have to spend time explaining what our business does and how we operate, we lose valuable time and ultimately we lose a lot of money. So the most important thing you can do in-house is learn what your business does. Take every opportunity you can to sit in on these meetings, do your own research, read your own marketing, take whatever you need to resource-wise to understand your business as well as the field guys.
And that's great. And I was going to ask how you did that, but it sounds like you just answered it. you took the initiative to, when you started a job, to just learn everything you can about the company itself.
Yep. I sat in, if I was invited to something that was strategic, I sat in, you listen, ask questions. What does this mean? What is this acronym? Any YouTube video I could watch, any sort of resource publication in oil and gas to understand. And there will be times you have to sit down with your team and say, I need you to really break this down. But as part of that, you have to have the background to know what questions to ask and be able to really go from there. I think that if you don't know your business as well as they do, you are no longer a resource, you're a hindrance, because you also don't know the legal issues that could pop up to be able to combat those as you're working.
That's great. And how do you, as an in-house attorney, make sure that the lines of communication are always open with the business units, and that you're there to help them, to smooth things over, to be that yes person and get things done? Are there ways that you do that?
So I think it can be really hard, because legal's the big bad, no one's best friend. But what I find really helpful is to be very visible. And so I do tend to go into the field a lot to meet the people that are out there who are needing you. I was actually in our Cambridge, Ohio office on Monday. I visited quite a few, being very visible so they see you as a person and a resource versus someone who's, sitting in the glass corporate office that, big, scary legal that they have to email. That's really important to me, because if they know you, they're going to call you. If they're comfortable with you, they're going to ask permission rather than forgiveness. If they know that you're on their team, they're coming to you before rather than asking you to fix a mess. And proving that and showing them that you're on the same team is part of being invested in knowing the business, understanding their deal, and letting them know, I'm here to make this happen for you. My job is to protect you. And my guys joke with me, because I always tell them, if you give me 15 minutes now to work through this, I'm going to save you 15 hours of deposition and lawsuit prep later. So Let them know, I'm on your team. I'm trying to get you back out there. I'm trying to do this lift for you. And then you really have to build that trust as you're going.
And so I saw you post on LinkedIn last week that you were in Massachusetts. So was that something you decided on your own initiative to go out and visit with them? So
a lot of the times will go for a reason. If there is something that needs me. I was in Massachusetts, I've been in Ohio, spent some time in Wyoming and in Greeley, Colorado recently in our offices. And so if I have a reason to get out there, whether it be a case, a meeting, something that requires my attention, I do try to go in person. I will try to also see what's around where I'm going. A lot of our offices operate in clusters, so I'll try to make sure I can get to more than one. And but if there are region meetings or things that are happening, I do try to go and be visible when I can. Want to make sure I'm available to the business and that travel doesn't get in the way of that. But I do think that being present, meeting people, and having the business know you is a benefit that you can't get sitting in your office all day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you kind of answered already what your favorite thing is, and just your love of business, of being in-house counsel. Is there something that you don't like as much that is like your least favorite thing about being an in-house attorney? And I don't mean your current position, but just over the years generally.
Ooh, good question. I think one of the misconceptions of an in-house attorney is that sometimes you took the grass is greener route. It's not the law firm, a lot of hard work. I think sometimes that is a misconception that we get. And one of that ties in with the hardest part is that it is a lot of hard work, but it's different hard work at times. And so I'm not sitting billing my hours to a specific client. But if something on Sunday at 2 p.m. happens, it's an emergency, you are the number one resource internally. Mm-hmm. So there can be challenges. Another huge challenge is the breadth of knowledge that you need to have. I don't get to say, this is my practice area. We at Select are a leaner legal group. We don't have the people who handle litigation, the people who handle IP, the people who handle mergers and acquisitions. That's all on my desk. So you have to have a really general, that's why they call it general counsel, knowledge of not only your business, but also of all the legal things that are going to hit you, whether that is how you can find a resource who's specific enough to handle it, or educating yourself in order to be able to do it personally and quickly.
Right. And I loved the being general counsel and seeing all those different issues. I think it's just a personality thing, and it depends on the company. Some companies don't break it up that way. And what you said about being busy, I remember one of my law school classmates, and she was at a big firm, and she went in-house, and she's like, I work way more now than I did before. But a lot of what I see in you is initiative. You're probably doing a lot more than you have to, right? Than the bare minimum, because you just love it. You love what you do, and that's great. I see it, and it reflects on you. Let's talk about legal trends in the legal market. We have ChatGPT for the last, year or so, generative AI that's made AI a hot topic. In-house departments is nothing new. It wasn't generative AI, but for decades and decades have wanted to cut costs in different ways, whether that's with document management or other ways to manage their legal spend. Are you seeing anything in the in-house community as far as, utilizing some technology now to further be more efficient?
I do think that is something that it's here, but I think it's still coming for a lot of people. I know one of the really big things that have been evaluated among a lot of my GC community has been adding in that AI function in some of our contract management software of, is this able to get a first pass and have it separate out so that you aren't spending as much time diving into some of the small edits. When they go in and they change, the word operator to the word select, going in and having something that can review that. I think that's going to be a huge benefit. I think, though, people who are very busy are going to be tempted to get lazy with some of this generative AI and ChatGPT of not taking that extra time to make sure you actually put eyes on it or you check the reference that it gave you. We've already seen some court cases where that has horrifically backfired. I think as long as we are cognizant of that technology and the benefit that it can add, we will be able to use it in a positive. But my mantra, and I spoke on it recently at a conference, is I said, your goal as an in-house lawyer and your goal as a lawyer everywhere should actually is be so excellent that it can't replace you, because you have to bring a skill set that technology can't beat. And so my technology might know how to review a contract, but it may not know how to apply it to my industry and to my business strategy. And so you need to be that level of excellence where it's a function that can help bolster you and make you better and more efficient at your job. But you are still so needed because you bring that level of expertise that it doesn't have.
Right. I love that. So you had a very successful career. So do you have any tips for climbing the corporate ladder, for moving from a more entry-level in-house position to a more senior position?
Definitely. I think my number one tip to everyone would be that networking is key. And it sounds very cheesy, but networking is how I ended up with actually my job here at Select and a job before this. But I think that you never know who eventually one day is going to be of a benefit to you. I think there's a mistaken perception of networking that, I'm going to these things when I need to find a job, or I'm looking and I want to go and I want to market myself there. When people are comfortable and they're happy, I don't think they see networking as big of a need. And that's actually when I find it much more helpful. And I think that it's something you should do continually. You should be involved in something that you enjoy, but also might have a career benefit, but understanding that networking doesn't always have to have a direct benefit to it, but it makes you very visible. I would also think that developing your own personal brand is very key. It's something I take a lot of pride in. If you follow me on LinkedIn, I'm out there a lot, doing a lot of things and making sure that it's posted about it, because you will always work for a company, most of the time. And your personal brand should be something that you maintain on your own. There needs to be things that you do for your professional and your development that may be outside of having any benefit on your current job, but that is still part of your networking, and your personal brand helps build your network and helps build your reputation. So I think that's something that has dwindled a bit since COVID, and people have gotten a bit lazy on it. They don't want to go do the networking in person, and they are going to attend via Zoom, or they're not going to get out there. And I think if you take that extra step and make sure you're focusing on networking and building your personal brand with people and making those connections, that it really can have a lot of benefit people are going to help you in ways that you don't know. Your name being on the table is a huge help just in the grand scheme.
Right. Totally with you. Totally agree. And so you have done a lot, just like me. I've pretty much always been involved in something every year. So why don't you tell us about some of the things you've been involved with? And again, you've been super involved, especially as an in-house attorney. We don't see that as much active involvement, but you've always had something, whether it's the rodeo or whether it's HYLA. So why did you do that other than clearly love it? We can just tell that you love this stuff.
So I moved back to Houston after graduating law school in Alabama, and I didn't have a huge legal community after not being here for a while. Had decided one of the best ways to do that would be to get involved in some organizations. It was purely selfish, looking for friends, looking for a network, not necessarily as focused on the giving back piece first. It was more looking back at the network. But I think that evolved a lot. So I did join the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and I also joined the Houston Young Lawyers Association. Still very involved in both of them. I'm on 3 Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo committees right now and love all of them, meet wonderful people in and out of my career, and have seen a lot of personal and professional benefit there. But on the Houston Young Lawyers side, it has a lot more of a direct association. I'm surrounded by lawyers, I'm doing things in the legal community, and I think that it's important to have both. I started with HYLA, the association, as the chair of the Adopt an Angel program. So that's where we fulfill wish lists for underprivileged children with the local legal community.
For the listeners, is Houston Young Lawyers Association.
Yes. So I chaired that Adopt an Angel program, slinging trash bags full of gifts and playing Santa at schools and dressing up as an elf and delivering bikes for about 8 years. But the Adopt an Angel program is actually closely affiliated, and it is run by the Houston Young Lawyers Association's 501c3 charitable arm, which is the Houston Young Lawyers Foundation. I hopped over to the foundation and joined the board of trustees by invite of the current chairman of the board a few years ago, and I am actually have just stepped into, as of this summer, the chairman of the board elect position. So next year, starting in 2024 through 2025, I will be chairman of the Houston Young Lawyers Foundation. And what we do is we give an annual sum, usually around $50,000, of grants to deserving organizations that assist in the health, welfare, and legal organizations around Houston.
That's fantastic. And just so everyone knows, how much time do you think you spend on the Houston Rodeo per year? Because you're in 3 committees.
A lot. I'm on the wine garden. I spend a lot of time during the rodeo there. I'm on the speakers committee, so I message the show. If you've ever attended the downtown parade and you've seen the very loud blonde outside City Hall with the microphone, that's me. So I MC the parade. I'm a rodeo clown, so you may not recognize me there, but I do make some appearances as my alter ego. And I'm on the Trailblazers Committee, which is a literacy-based all-women committee for the rodeo. So I do spend a significant amount of time, but the nice thing about rodeo committees is your commitment is what you make it. You do have an hourly commitment to earn your badge, but you can do more or less at will. And I have the ability to schedule that around my professional commitments and make sure that I'm honoring both.
So there you go. Samantha-Anne, from in-house attorney to rodeo clown. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Chris. Appreciate it.
Okay, bye.